to our 2018 DOST Forum on R&D and Technical Services, the road to competitive advantage. Okay? So before we start, I just would like to acknowledge the presence of our Deputy Director for Administrative and Technical Services, Dr. Diana Lacambra Ignacio. The Head of Division of the Standards and Testing Division, Dr. Rosalinda Torres, Scientist 1. And of course, the Laboratory Manager of Admatil, Dr. Celi Monsada. Our first speaker is currently the head of the Packaging Technology Division and Program Leader of the DOST Packaging Research and Development Center. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please a warm welcome to Ms. Daisy E. Tanya Franca.
Those projects that were funded by DOST and also from our clients. Of course, we will not specify kung sino gumawa, no? packaging materials for specific type of food product. Mas maganda sana that nasa plano namin that we include the estimated cost, pero medyo mahirap siya. Madali kasi mag-change yung cost niya. And of course, included in the table is an estimated product shelf life according to the type of packaging materials. So ito yung nasa loob niya. Merong, of course, highly visual samples of the different types of packaging so that it will be more enticing to the users. Siyempre, pag ako gusto ko rin maraming photos, maraming pictures. Pero ganito yung lalabas na table niya, makikita mo, it is according to the different category. For example, if you have preserved food in vinegar, salt, and sugar, like for example, for pickled seaweeds, so makikita mo dito, mga options mo for bagoong, for example, and then ito yung functions, and ito yung mga estimated shelf life. So makikita mo dito. For example, for the meat and seafood based products, if you have tuna, skin chicharon, ito yung mga options. So makikita mo yun, the difference of the shelf life. So you will have a choice if, for example, if you want to market your product from General Santos to Manila, of course you want to have a longer shelf life. But if your product is fast moving, you don't have to invest on packaging material. Maganda rin siguro nga, dapat noon, mailagay mo yung cost so that it can also be a consideration in making your choice. Pero madali naman tumawag na ngayon sa mga suppliers so that you can have a comparison also on the cost and you can do cost-benefit analysis. So, malaki kasi yung differences sa shelf life. You have a 33 months, 33 ba to? Sorry, 3.3, 6 months. So, magkakameron ka ng comparison. For example, 1 year, if you want to export your products, the minimum requirements for the export market for processed food is to have at least a 1-year shelf life. Okay? And then, for example, for the category for dried foods, for bakery products like butterscotch, mango cookies, so ito lahat we have already conducted series of studies. So ito yung mga equivalent shelf life. Of course, I forgot to include that the expected shelf life at 30 degrees Celsius. It's important that you always indicate the storage temperature. Or kung meron siyang specific storage temperature, like if you want to store it at low temperature, then you have to indicate. Dapat ano siya, absolute value. Hindi pwedeng ilagay na room temperature because room temperature varies in different places. So, absolute na ilalagay mo at 30 or not more than 30, ganun ang temperature. Kasi for every increase in temperature, there is a significant rate effect on the rate of deterioration. So, ginagawa siya ng kinetics of deterioration. Like, if the mode of deterioration is browning, for example, for dried mango, if at 30 the shelf life is at 6 months, kung mapunta ang product mo during export, malapit sa boiler, which the temperature can go as high as 40 or 50, then maybe from 6 months, the shelf life will only be 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Because there will be a significant increase in the rate of browning reaction or any type of food deterioration. So it's important that you always indicate the storage temperature. Kasi marami na akong experiences na nakakabili ako that within expiration date. Like for example, for ano yung tinapay sa, sasabi ko yun na, dinala ko siya, nakalagay ng Hong no? Pero hindi isa yung mga dalig sa akin. Mamon yan, mamon. Merong maliit na black spot, buong na pala siya. So, within expiration date. So, I made a complaint. Kailangan mag-complain ka. Dito sa Philippines, very weak ang consumer. Unlike in, for example, in Japan, kahit may claim ka doon na easy open, but if the consumer cannot open, then the consumer can sue the manufacturer. For every information that you declare on the label is already a claim. So, pag nilagay mo siya ng easy open, or tear here, and then you can tears ang lalabas. So, pwede kang mag-complain. Ganun siya. Kasi claim na yun lahat. So, it's very important. Hindi pwede room temperature or at chill temperature. Kasi minsan hindi naman naiintindihan ng consumer ano yung refrigerator temperature, ano yung chilling temperature. Baka yung refrigerator, iba-iba yung mga settings, no? So, absolute value ilagay siya. So, ito yung mga examples. Actually, marami na siya. Ang hirap lang gawin siya na pag sinasabi niyo yung oh, yun yung labas-labas niya yan. Pero hirap siyang gawin kung kaya lahat. But, kung malabas na siya, it will be very useful talaga. At least, meron ka ng indicator, indication kung ano dapat i-select mo na packaging material. So, ito pa example for nut base. So, yan, yung mga function. And then, yung mga acronym na ginagamit kasi minsan LDPE, LDPE, HDPE. Kung nasa packaging ka, of course, you already know the meaning, no? So, kasama din siya sa handbook. And some explanation on the different properties and functions of the different types of plastic and plastic-based products, and as well as other types of packaging materials. So, ito yung mga example. We have a tagline that it starts here, then it widens the market from here. Yung tagline niya. Maybe most of you are very familiar with the Jacobina. Maybe this is the best Jacobina that I ever tasted, no? So, ito siya. This is the original packaging, which is only polypropylene. And then we make a laminated film and then a secondary box. Wala dati siyang secondary packaging. Then we develop a secondary packaging as well as the graphic design. So, ngayon, ang problema niya is the high demand which the owner cannot comply. So, it's a positive problem for them. So, they're expanding their production. Kahit saan makikita mo ito pasalubong, pinapasalubungan lang ako ng sister ko. Sabi ko, kliyente namin yan. Pero very popular na siya kahit saan makapunta. Of course, the graphic design will, have an effect on the decision of the consumer kung bibili ka. No? Malaki yung effect na meron agad ng attraction sa consumer kung maganda yung packaging na gagamitin. Of course, the design was based on the type ng product. Kasi more on sa coffee shop. So, more on siguro sa elderly or mga adult siya. Hindi pang bata. But I made the recommendation to the owner so that it will also, make appeal to the young people, to the millennials. Sabi ko, pwedeng meron mga chocolate coated, or other flavors like different spices. So they are considering that. And then, of course, you are familiar with the pastel cut siguro. So dati, dito sila nag-start, direct packaging sa box. So, masyadong risky in terms of cross-contamination. Ang mga Pilipino, ang behavior, when the study was conducted, mahilig siyang manghipo-hipo. Pindot, malutong pa. Pero pagka pinrack na siya yung chicharon, kasi nadulog na niya, hindi niya yung bibili, iba yung bibili niya. Pero sabihin niya, malutong. Sabi niya, it's a study based sa Japan. Pag pumapasok ang Pilipino sa convenience store, mahilig siyang isil-isil. Siyempre, pinapag-aralan nila ang behavior ng consumer. In other countries, for example, yung effect ng graphic design and the different colors, meron na silang yung parang, kung tawag nila doon, track nila yung mata ng tao kung ano yung nag-aabil na color or specific type of product. So sa atin, until now, we're still in the stage of makakomply sa mga mandatory labeling requirements. But there is already a significant improvement on the packaging of Philippine products. And we are, with all humility, that our division has contributed a lot in improving or enhancing the packaging, design, technology, and as well as the structure, not only of food products, but as well as for the packaging sector. So, ito din, overall, of course, we had that study that, I don't know if mababanggit na dyan, that not all Japanese paper and cellophane are food grade. So, maybe these are food as decorative materials, mga parol. So, it's important. Kaya naging policy na siya ng FDA natin that all food contact materials, including packaging materials, must be certified as Originally, this is the original packaging. Gumagamit na sila polypropylene jar. But now, marami ng options like mga laminated films with aluminum for longer shelf life. So these are some of the examples. So of course, we know that packaging is the link. You cannot trade any product without packaging. So it's very critical sa trading relationships natin with other countries. Not only of, pag madami kang, based sa kanila, pag madami kang ginamit na paper and paperboard, ibig sabihin marami kang natitrade na product. Yun minsan ang basis ng status ng economy ng isang country. So hindi ko lang siya mapakita dito, pero makikita mo kung mas progressive sila, maraming consumption ng paper and paperboard products. Kasi yun ang generally na ginagamit nating distribution packaging. So, yung second series naman, this is more on the library of packaging designs. So, meron kami dito for the 27. Iba naman ang kanilang type, ang ibang ginagamit nila. It's a wrap. So, ito naman yung mga gawa ng designers. So, for 2017, every year may ganito. But now we are in the process of developing as much as many designs para kung madali yung kliyente titingnan lang sa library of designs, then they can directly pay and own the design para mas maganda siya. And the third is more on the packaging innovations that we are currently kinukondak na lang yung mga green packaging technology. So I think that's the end of the presentation. So ang mga tinatanong dito, libre ba yung handbook? So the handbook will be decided by the DOST-STII, not us. I think all regional offices will be provided with free, but kung ilalabas ba siya sa national bookstore or sa out there. So thank you. I think I will give more time to Janelle kasi mas equal lang over time.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Daisy. So for those who are interested to have the handbook, we will just keep it posted. With the DOS, they will have this publicly distributed with National Bookstore. To continue the technology pitching for testing for specific packaging related contaminants and packaging handbook, ladies and gentlemen, one of their science research analysts, ito yung mga bago natin, mga millennials, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to Mr. Janelle Urbona.
So, good afternoon po. So, good afternoon. Yung presentation ko is all about testing for specific packaging-related contaminants. So, bali yung dito, mako-cover lang yung ilan sa mga common na contaminants na pwede natin ma-encounter or pwedeng mag-leach from packaging materials into food. So, here's the outline of my presentation. So, let's define first yung packaging. So, pag sinabi natin packaging, these are the materials used to wrap or protect goods. So, primarily, packaging is used for protection from external factors. So, yung mga external factors na yun, we have yung relative humidity, temperature, and direct exposure dun sa mga UV irradiation and IR radiation. So it also facilitates transportation of the products from one place to another and acts as a promotional tool. So di ba mapapansin mo sa mga packaging materials, kumbaga pagandahan na lang sila sa design. Pero hindi natin alam kung ano ba yung impact ng, let's say, colorful yung packaging. So hindi natin alam kung ano yung content nun na pwedeng maging migrants, maging toxic migrants dun sa food. And also provides customer convenience. Good packaging must be convenient and attractive. Tulad ng sinabi ko kanina, attractive dapat siya. So, dyan yung mga, meron kasing design na colorful siya, meron naman yung minimalist lang. Pero, hindi nga natin alam kung ano yung possible na effect. Posibleng yung minimal lang yung design, siya yung mag-cause ng ng deterioration dun sa food kasi may mga contaminants siya. Economical and eco-friendly, protective, dapat talaga protective siya. Let's say, for example, yung sa mga high barrier na packaging materials, yun yung usually ginagamit kapag ita-transfer yung mga products or yung mga goods sa medyo long distance. And dapat standard. Kaya lang, meron talaga tayong mga common packaging failures. Yan, kung makikita nyo naman, pasag. Kumbaga, fragile lang pero imagine, tingnan nyo yung mismong packaging niya. Ito rin yung isa sa mga common problems, yung migration or yung contamination. Di ba, parang 2015 yata or 2016, naging issue sa atin yung bisphenol A. Yung about dun sa mga baby bottles, contaminated siya ng bisphenol A. Tapos yan, medyo mahirap buksan yung packaging material, katulad nung good example niyan is yung sa Jelly Ace. Before, matagal na siyang, mahirap na siyang buksan. Until now naman, may mga ganun pa rin. And ito, inappropriate siya. Mas malaki yung content kaysa sa mismong packaging. So, dapat ma-eliminate natin yung mga yan. Para ma-eliminate yan, kailangan tayo magkaroon ng package testing or packaging testing. So, it measures the characteristics or property of packaging material, yung components niya, and even yung shipping containers na ginagamit from transferring ng product from one place to another. And it measures the effects and interactions of packaging contents, external forces like yung relative humidity, temperature, yung mga nabanggit ko kanina, and even yung end user. It could be physical, mechanical, and chemical testing done through series of laboratory experiments, subjective evaluation by people, or even field testing. Pwede qualitative, quantitative, or even both. So the importance of packaging testing is to determine or verify that the requirements of a specification, regulation, or contract are met. So tayo, pagdating dito, ang sinusunod natin is yung regulation ng DFAD, ng DOH, and yung FDA. Samantalang sa Europe, ang sinusunod nila is yung Commission Regulation na 10-2011. Decide if a new product development program is on track. So, good example nito is yung bisphenol A. Last 2011, nakasulat dun sa EU 10-2011, yung limit ng bisphenol A is nasa 600 mg per kilogram. So, naglabas sila ng bagong regulation ngayon, which is yung EU 2018-213. From 600, naging 50 mg per kilogram na lang siya. So yun, through series of testing, nagkaroon sila ng development dun sa paggamit ng bisphenol A para dun sa packaging material. And also it provides standard data for other scientific engineering and quality assurance functions and validates suitability for end use. Again, provide a basis for technical communication and magkakaroon din ng comparisons for several options kapag nagkaroon ka na ng parang database ng mga results. Ginagamit din siya sa mga legal proceedings, sa patents and product claims, and help identify potential cost savings in packaging. Also, one of the most importance of packaging testing is to help solve problems with current packaging. Yung mga issues kaya na yung mga contaminants. So, bali sa process, sinusunod natin is si ISO and si ASTM, yung American Society for Testing and Materials, and sa European Committee for Standardization, and then si EFSA, then si TAPI for Pulp and Paper Industry, and yung sa ISTA for Safe Transit Association. So, katulad ng nabanggit ko kanina, meron tayong help solve yung mga current related packaging problems, di ba? Isa sa mga problem na kailangan nilang isolve is yung contaminant, or to be more specific, yung packaging contaminants. So, define lang natin, kapag sinabing contaminant, it's either a biological, chemical, physical, or radiological substance that is harmful for humans or living organisms. So, to be more specific, meron tayong mga contaminants sa packaging, commonly additives, andyan si plasticizers, si antioxidant, mga thermal stabilizers, and yung unreacted monomers and oligomers. So sa contaminant, ito yung pinaka-nakitang problem, yung unreacted monomers and oligomers. Kasi hindi naman lahat na i-convert into polymer. So may mga residual na naiiwan. So ang challenge dito is yung mga development ng mga catalyst na kung saan yung conversion niya is almost 99%. Next, meron din tayong mga degradation products. So yung mga side chain reaction. So let's say for example, si acetone kapag nireact mo kay pag nireact mo siya sa parang during polymerization niya for the production of bisphenol A, may mga side products yun. And meron tayo ngayong issue sa packaging, yung tinatawag na NIAS or yung non-intentionally added substance. So itong origin ng NIAS, medyo ano pa siya, kumbaga medyo mahirap pa siyang i-identify kasi nandiyan na pumapasok yung mga side reactions, yung mga photodegradation product, and even yung product niya through hydrolysis. So ito, yung mga common ways kung bakit nagkakaroon ng food contamination. So una pa lang dyan is yung transport, di ba? Kapag yung food or yung goods ay galing sa ibang lugar, na-transfer mo siya, so napakarami niyang pagdadaanan. Especially kapag talagang long distance yung travel. Kasi gumagamit dyan ang ginagamit nila dyan yung mga high barrier packaging materials. Pero hindi tayo ganun ka-sure kung yung ginagamit ba nila is totoong high barrier. Kasi nilalagyan nila yan na may nilalagay silang something para ma-extend yung shelf life ng product. So dun pa lang nagkakaroon na ng contamination. Next is yung sa disinfection ng mismong production area. So may mga naiiwan na toxic chemicals dyan, then hindi nalilinis ng maayos. And isang factor din is yung cooking at high temperature. For example, di ba may mga bacteria na active, buhay sila in high temperature. And also, sa cooking at high temperature, may mga molecules or chemical compound na napuproduce, like kung narinig niyo na yung acrylamide. Yung acrylamide is parang cause siya ng browning ng mga piniprito. So, yun. Contaminant yung acrylamide na yun. And ito, yung paghahalo-halo. Kumbaga, pinaghalo-halo nila, pwede yung sabon na ihalo sa pagkain or kung ano man. And yung focus ng presentation ito is yung migration. Yun yung isa sa mga major reason kung bakit nagkakaroon ng food contamination. So, sources of contamination is, sabi ko nga, yung mga additives. Kasama dyan si plasticizer, si thermal stabilizers, sleep additives, light stabilizer, and antioxidants. So si plasticizer, ang purpose niya is to magkaroon ng transparency, flexibility, longevity, and durability yung isang packaging material kaya siya ina-add. So commonly na ginagamit na plasticizer is yung dibutyl phthalates and yung DEHP, yung di-2-ethylhexyl phthalates. So yung DEHP, ginagamit siya as plasticizer sa PVC. And yung DBP, dibutyl phthalates, ginagamit siya sa coatings, sa mga printing inks, just to add adhesion. Kasi ang plasticizer, nire-reduce niya yung cohesion intermolecular forces ng polymer. Ibig sabihin, ina-adjust niya above yung adhesion forces. So sa mga thermal stabilizers naman, ito naman yung ina-add sa packaging material para ma-withstand niya yung high temperature. Commonly ginagamit na thermal stabilizers is yung ESPO or yung epoxidized soybean oil. And sa slip additives, ginagamit siya to reduce yung static charges ng packaging material. And yung light stabilizers naman, yung kumbaga protection ng mismong product sa exposure sa sunlight. Katulad nung sa vitamins, like yung vitamin C, naka-amber bottle siya, diba? Meron yung ginagamit sa stabilizers yung mga metal oxides and yung even metal sulfides. And antioxidants, isa rin. Ito pa, another sources of contamination is yung mga monomers and oligomers, yung mga unreactive na compound. Like yung styrene, sa monomer ng polystyrene, vinyl chloride, which is monomer unit ng polyvinyl chloride. So by the way, ito si vinyl chloride, kumbaga sa European Food Safety and sa EU 10-2011, tinanggal talaga siya sa positive list. Kasi proven na si vinyl chloride ay nagkukos ng leukemia and cancer sa dugo. And yung badge, which is yung epoxy resin ng bisphenol A, and si caprolactam, mga cyclic amides, ito yung sa ginagamit sa nylon 6, yung mga ziplock, and yung sa mga dried products, dried foods. Hydrogen peroxide, since na H2O2 yan, very oxidative, oxidant siya. So nagkukos siya ng oxidation. So ginagamit si hydrogen peroxide pang sterilize nung sa mga aseptic packaging, yung sa gatas, sa'yo. Tapos dioxins, ginagamit siya sa as bleaching agent sa mga pulp. So bale, bago i-test yung isang packaging material for toxic migrants, ina-expose muna natin siya sa environmental chamber. Dito, ina-adjust si relative humidity and yung moisture, yung temperature and relative humidity. So pag sa paper-based material, medyo ang crucial part dun is yung moisture, which is yung relative humidity. Kasi since na paper siya, kapag mataas yung relative humidity, pwedeng maging weak na siya as packaging material. So hindi na siya appropriate. Kapag plastic naman, masyadong pagka tinaasan mo yung temperature, di ba pag plastic, pagka mataas ang temperature, either malusaw siya or lundo. And ito yung mga common methods na ginagamit. So isa sa mga kilalang testing for toxic migrants about sa mga packaging material is yung migration. Pag sinabing migration, transfer of chemical substances from food contact materials into food. Greatly affected siya ng temperature and time. So kapag mas mataas yung temperature, possible na mabilis yung rate ng migration. And kapag mahaba yung storage time, pwede rin magkaroon ng acceleration doon sa migration. So importance of migration for consumer safety, consumer acceptability. Kasi di ba may mga na-encounter tayo na pagkain na parang kapag natagalan yung pagkain dun sa packaging material niya, nag-iiba yung lasa. So possible na may nag-migrate na mga contaminants doon. And BFAD and other international regulatory institution requirements. So requirement talaga yan. Possible migrants for plastic-based, ito na yung mga additives such as plasticizers, stabilizers, and lubricants. While sa mga metal-based naman is yung lacquers or yung epoxy resin na ginagamit dun sa lata para hindi mag-leak yung content ng mismong lata dun sa food. Sa paper-based, yung mga bleaching agent like chlorophenols, dioxins, aldehydes, meron din. And sa glass-based, yung mga metal oxide or metal sulfide. Sa inks and adhesives or varnishes, ito yung mga solvents or yung hydrocarbon fractions. So bale, even sa Europe and dito sa atin, meron tayong sinet na dalawang limits for migration. Yung overall migration and specific migration. So from the word itself, overall, sum of all substances that can migrate from food contact materials into food. It measures the inertness of the material. However, yung specific migration, individual substances that can migrate. So, sa overall migration, ang information mo lang doon ang information na pwede mo lang malaman is merong nag-migrate from food contact materials. Pero doon sa specific migration, malalaman mo na kung ano yung nag-migrate na yun through the use of GCMS, HRMS, or LCMS. So, kaya ano muna tayo, overall migration muna tayo. So, sa overall migration, meron tayong 4 simulants. Yung water, 20% ethanol, and 4% acetic acid and heptane. So, water, ginagamit siya as simulant for sa mga watery products. 20% ethanol, kapag yung food ay may content ng not more than 20% ng ethanol, and 4% acetic acid kapag acidic pH, and N-heptane sa mga oily products. So yung parameters na meron tayo for overall migration is yung potassium permanganate consumption, UV-based examination, and residual evaporation. So sa KMNO for consumption, kapag yung packaging material mo ay nilubog mo dun sa solution, which is yung mother solution mo, possible na may mag-leach doon, which is i-react nitong KMNO4 kasi oxidizing agent siya. Then si UV-based examination, ganun din naman. From mother solution mo, isa-subject mo siya into UV-based and malalaman mo kung merong nag-migrate na substance doon sa solution. And residue and evaporation, kapag hinit mo yung solution, kung may matitira pang residue sa kanya. So, maximum limits, sa KMNO for consumption, for water lang naman siya, ang maximum niya is 10 ppm. While dun sa UV-based examination, water, 0.3 absorbance unit, hanggang acetic acid, 20% ethanol, and yung sa N-heptane, 0.1 absorbance unit lang. And sa residue and evaporation, maximum for water is 30 ppm, then N-heptane, 150 ppm. So dito sa specific migration limit, commonly na ginagamit dito is GCMS through most of the time headspace. Pwede rin namang LCMS and pwede rin namang HRMS or yung TOF. So una dyan, sample preparation, standard and sample injection through GC, and interpret mo yung result. So to be more specific, based dun sa EU 10 2011, kailangan mong pumili ng appropriate na food simulant. So ganito yung actual na ginawa namin sa University of Zaragoza dun sa Spain. Pinili namin yung mga food simulants na nakapaloob dun sa regulation nila. So, meron tayo ditong ethanol na 10%, acetic 3%, ethanol 20 and 50, and vegetable oil, tsaka yung poly-2,6-diphenyl paraphenylene oxide, which is commonly known as TNAX. TNAX is good adsorbent, kaya siya ginagamit na as simulant for dry foods. Generally, itong food simulant A, B to C, ginagamit sila sa mga hydrophilic na, kumbaga, food na may hydrophilic character. So, pag pagka acetic acid 10%, ang pH dapat ng food is below 4.5. And kapag ethanol, katulad ng sinabi ko, maximum of 20%. Ethanol 50, kumbaga may lipophilic character siya. Ibig sabihin, pwede siyang mag-dissolve dun sa oil or sa mga fatty acids or mga oily products. Etong vegetable oil, pwede itong, since na GC yung gagamitin, hindi pwede itong vegetable oil. So, ang pwedeng substitute nito is yung 95% na ethanol or yung almost pure na, kumbaga technical grade. Aside dun sa selection ng food simulant, meron din tayong time and temperature selection. So bale, itong part na to, ito yung contact temperature. Contact temperature ng substance mo. Halimbawa, ito na lang gawin natin example. Yung temperature niya is not more than 100 but not less than 70 degrees Celsius. So, common sa atin na, ito yung madalas nating na-encounter kasi di ba, katulad yung sa coffee, yung paper cup, di ba? Alam naman natin na ang ilalagay mo lang doon is almost boiling point lang ng water, di ba? So, dito na lang tayo mag-focus. So, ibig sabihin, isa-subject mo yung sample mo into this range of temperature kapag ka ito yung contact niya. And dun sa selection of time naman, ito yung time to be selected for testing. Halimbawa, ito, above 30 days, ito yung common sa atin. Kasi, for example, yung food mo ay nasa market, let's say, cookies, yeah. And ang expiration niya is more than 30 days. So, dito ka ngayon mag-fall sa C-specific condition na testing temperature. So, yung specific condition na yan, sabi, 10 days at 20 degrees Celsius yung testing time and temperature mo. Kapag ka freezing and defrosting processes yung gagamitin mo, yung scenario ng mismong product mo. So 20 degrees Celsius is the maximum na pwedeng ma-encounter ng product mo upon storage. Then 10 days at 40, kapag ka yung product mo ay ma-encounter niya is not more than 100 degrees Celsius but not less than 70. And 10 days at 50, kapag ka yung product mo ay 6 months ang storage niya at room temperature, and ito yung mga possible na temperature na pwede niyang ma-encounter or yung range. Pag-test ka lang ng 10 days at 60, kapag ka above 6 months at room temperature na yung storage ng mismong product mo. Provided na ganun din, ito lang yung range ng temperature na kung saan mo siya gagamitin. Kung saan yung actual na purpose ng paggagamitan talaga sa kanya. However, pwede tayo mag-reduce into 10 days at 40 degrees Celsius kapag ka provided na scientific evidence na yung equilibration under this condition ay na-reach niya. And kapag ka yung ititest mong product or ititest mong packaging material ay wala doon sa mga condition na ibinigay, gagamit na tayo ng formula. Ito na yung formula na binigay ng EU 10-2011, which is yung T1, capital T1 at T2 is yung contact temperature in Kelvin and testing temperature in Kelvin respectively. And yung small T1 and T2 is yung contact time and testing time respectively. So, bali actual dyan, yung naging scenario namin during our training, nag-cut kami ng sample. By the way, anyway, yung sample, pag nag-cut ka ng sample, ang sinabi dun sa EU 10-2011, dapat 6 square decimeter per kilogram of solvent lang yung gagamitin mo. So kapag ibig sabihin, ikakat mo yung sample into 6 square decimeter, provided na ang simulant na gagamitin mo ay 1 kilogram of solvent lang. So, nung nag-cut kami, in-expose namin siya dun sa temperature and dun sa time na nakalagay dun sa table. And ang unang ginawa namin is yung scanning. So, una, ginawa namin GCMS scanning headspace and LCMS saka HRS Q-TOF. Sa GCMS, nalaman namin na marami siyang peak. By the way, ang sample pala namin dito is Japanese paper tsaka yung cellophane. So, sa GCMS, may nakita kaming peak doon na may content siya ng phthalates, pero konti lang naman. Then, pagdating doon sa Q-TOF, doon sa scanning, marami ng peak na lumabas. And our explanation doon, yung peak na yun na yung NIAS na tinatawag. So, non-intentionally added substance na siya. Kumbaga, under investigation pa yung mga peaks na yun. Kasi, kumbaga, yung compound na yun ay unidentified pa and unknown talaga siya. Then yun, in-identify namin yung mga retention time and yung mass to charge ratio. And after nun, nung time kasi na yun, ang gusto lang namin malaman is kung meron ba siyang benzophenone, kung meron ba siyang bisphenol A, and kung meron ba siyang phthalates. So that's why ang pinrepare namin standard is yung tatlo na yun. Benzophenone, phthalates, and bisphenol A. Then interpretation of result, nung in-interpret yung result, nag-positive siya sa phthalates and may ilang fix na sabi sa amin, corresponding din siya for benzophenone. So ito yung ilan sa mga common specific contaminants. So ito si bisphenol A, reaction through acetone and phenol. So 2 moles of phenol. And si bisphenol A actually, ano lang siya, intermediate siya for the formation itong polycarbonate and epoxy resin through the reaction of phosgene and epichlorohydrin. So itong polycarbonate na to, ito talaga yung pinaka-useful na end product niya. Ginagamit ito sa mga sample sa maleta, tapos dun sa mga tumblers kasi transparent thermoplastic which is good heat and impact resistance. However, yung epoxy resin coatings, epoxy resin, ito yung coatings dun sa mga metal cans para i-protect niya yung protection dun sa corrosion, possible na corrosion. BPA is also present in printing inks, adhesives, and recycled paper and board. By the way pala, si epoxy resin, pwede siyang, kumbaga, mabilis siyang mag-degrade upon oxidation. So, ibig sabihin, reaction with oxygen lang naman. So, that's why, maririnig natin na ina-advise sa atin na kapag once na nagbukas tayo ng mga canned foods, dapat transfer siya agad kasi mabilis yung oxidation niya. And yun nga yung kanina, sabi ko, from EU 10 2011, 600 mg per kilogram yung limit, maximum limit for specific migration ng BPA. And last, etong 2018 lang, naging 50 na lang siya kasi upon series of testing, napag-alaman talaga nila na very toxic talaga ito si bisphenol A. Bisphenol A is endocrine disruptor. It causes fertility problems, heart disease, breast and prostate cancer, and immune PCOS, yung polycystic ovarian syndrome. Another toxic migrant is yung phthalates. Ito. Ginagamit siya as plasticizer, yan DBP and DHP. DPP ang maximum niya is 0.3 mg per kilogram and DHP 1.5 mg per kilogram. Kaya lang, may study na yung ginamit na, tinest nila yung packaging materials for mga meat products and yung content ng DBP ay naging 15 mg per kilogram and itong DHP naging 45 mg per kilogram. So bali, kung wala talagang testing, unaware tayo na kumbaga nilalasan na tayo. Ginagamit siya for adhesives and glues, packaging materials, and printing inks, can cause abnormal obesity, breast cancer, and insulin resistance. Next is yung acetaldehyde. Ginagamit siya as plasticizer naman sa PET and production of perfumes, solvent in the rubber, in fluid composition, and etc. So acute effect lang naman ng acetaldehyde is eyes, skin, and respiratory tract infection in humans. However, high exposure cause erythema or yung redness of skin due to increased blood flow, pulmonary edema, or yung mahirapan kang huminga dahil yung nabablock yung mga air sacs dun sa lungs. And itong acetaldehyde din naman is product siya ng oxidation ng methanol. Next is itong benzophenone. Ginagamit siya for packaging material as UV blocker. Well, itong benzophenone kasi, hindi lang naman siya sa packaging material ng kita. Kung mapapansin niyo yung mga sunscreen, lotion, meron siya as benzophenone 2 yata and benzophenone 3. And yung ginagamit sa packaging material is 4-methyl benzophenone. So, maximum limit niya is 0.6 mg per kilogram and endocrine disruptor siya in mice. So, itong benzophenone, under ano pa to, marami pang study na ginagawa dito. So, kami sa packaging, part ito nung project na ginagawa namin yun. Determination ng benzophenone sa mga paper and paperboard na packaging material. Next is yung heavy metals. Heavy metals testing through the use of AAS and yung ICP. So AAS kasi parang ano lang siya, single element lang pwede mong yung pwedeng gawin dyan. However, itong ICP, mas advantage siya kasi pwede siya as multi-element. So, merong isang study na ang ginamit nilang sample is yung mga paperboards or pasta and cereal products. And sobrang nag-exceed talaga siya sa limit ng sinet ng European Council. And ito yung isang study which is yung extraction test versus migration. So sa extraction, ang ginawa lang nila is distilled water at 24 hours for 23 degrees Celsius. However, yung sa migration talaga, ginamit nila is acetic. So yung term lang naman nila na extraction versus migration is yung ano lang naman, level lang ng condition. Kumbaga, mas harsher lang yung ginamit nila for migration test. Pero, yung result, nag-positive pa rin siya sa mga metal na to. And, heavy metals can cause kidney damage, cancer, lung damage, numbness, and can lead to death. So, may na-encounter kasi ako din sa heavy metals. Ka-workmate ko before. Buntis siya, and ang hinahawakan niya is heavy metals, yung kumbaga yung parameters niya. And nung nanganak siya, parang sad to say, yung bata wala siyang yung part ng loob dito. Parang open yung ano niya. Tapos ang sabi niya sa akin, parang ang cost sabi daw ng doctor, malaki daw yung malaki yung accumulate niya heavy metals kasi almost 10 years yata siyang nag-handle ng ICP and ADS. So, yun, maging aware tayo sa heavy metals. Tapos sa heavy metals, sino bang mahilig sa mga seafoods? Especially yung lobster. Yan. Kasi ako mismo nag-handle din ako ng heavy metals before. And sobrang taas ng content, especially kapag lobster, arsenic, yan, saka lead. So, doon sa European 10-2011, ito yung sinet nila na maximum limits for heavy metals. Ilan lang yan, so marami pa actually. So, understanding some characteristics of a good package, such as compatibility, processing and storage condition, product protection from chemical, physical, and biological sources of deterioration, suitability for the intended final use of the product, and ability to withstand the stresses of distribution, are some of the ways for functional, sustainable, and effective packaging. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Junel. Kung meron po kayong mga questions, maybe at the end of the forum, our speakers, they can engage them later. And our next speaker is an electrical engineer and a master registered electrician, presently completing his Master's of Science in Industrial Engineering. Our speaker is Mr. Engineer Jose Ryan Aramante, one of our science research specialists from the Standards and Testing Division. Ladies and gentlemen, Engineer Amante.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, in behalf of the Standards and Testing Division and the Physical and Performance Testing Laboratory, I'm Ryan Amante, presenting to you the integration of testing services for rubber and rubber-based products. So before I start, I will present a video to understand, brief understanding of the testing that we are conducting.
Rubber and rubber-based products play an important role in our daily life. The quality of these rubber-based products are tested to ensure that defective products and assemblies are not produced, thus preventing accidents and loss of lives and properties. The Industrial Technology Development Institute, through the Standards and Testing Division, ensures that locally produced and imported rubber products comply with both the national and international quality standards. Quality Rubber, a rubber testing facility under the Physical and Performance Testing Laboratory, offering world-class testing capabilities for stronger rubber product qualities. The Physical and Performance Testing Laboratory is a PMS ISO IEC 17025 accredited laboratory since 2011. Ozone resistance. Tensile strength and elongation. Rebound resilience. Electrical resistivity. Durometer harness. Low temperature brittleness point. Flammability tester. And burst pressure. The laboratory continuously ensures the rubber industry in the country of accurate and reliable rubber testing results. For inquiries, you may give us a call at 837-2071-282.
Sorry, I'll just flash mamaya yung details. So, for our objectives, so first is to enhance and integrate the capacity of ITDI in offering a complete laboratory testing services for manufactured rubber based on industry requirements. So, and the second objective is to initiate accreditation of additional rubber testing services to ISO 17025. So, by the way, 17025 is the accreditation for the competencies of the laboratory and testing laboratory and calibration laboratories. So, our significance and advantages is first, we have a new and upgraded facilities and state-of-the-art testing equipments. So, later I'll present to you the latest equipment that we have purchased. And next is the locally available testing services lessen the need of sending test samples abroad, which can be more expensive and time-consuming. Third is the product standards can now be set based on local conditions while in accordance to global standards. And lastly, we have efficient testing facilities that can accommodate the demands of local rubber industries. So we list down 10 reasons why you must consider availing our testing services. First, we are ISO 17025 accredited. All of our parameters for the rubber testing are already accredited since November 2017. So lahat po yun ng parameters doon sa testing na ipapakita namin ay accredited po. So next is state-of-the-art testing facility and equipment. Third, we use national and international standards like Philippine National Standards, International Organization for Standardization, ASTM, and the Underwriters Laboratory Standard. And test methods are harmonized with ASEAN quality standards. We have 64 standards that are already harmonized with ASEAN. Next, performance test on products and components and design test suitable to customers' needs. Sometimes po, may mga nagpapatest sa amin, like for adhesives, kahit braces ng ipin, test din namin. But performance test po tawag namin doon. So, sometimes we adjust on the needs of the consumers or the clients kung paano po. Wala na yung mga R&Ds and mga students po na may mga composites yung mga samples nila. So need po yun, walang standard po yun. Kasi almost yung standard is yung kung ano talaga, kung rubber siya, kung plastic siya, kung concrete siya. So may specific standard yun. So for composites, nagkakaroon tayo ng performance testing. So 6, local testing services are cheaper and more convenient to be availed. So compared sa ibang laboratories, because we are a government laboratory, so we can assure you na mura, cheaper yung aming testing fees, and at the same time, we encourage students din, researchers, na mag-test sa amin kasi we have 20% discount para po sa students. So on all testings po yun. Then, 7 is the ITDI continually upgrades its equipment to maintain a high standard laboratory performance and integrity at all times. 8, we have stringent calibration of equipments which are traceable to SI units. But not just calibrations, we do also performance proficiency testing and verification. Kahit hindi lang basta calibration, requirement po yun sa ISO 17025 na not just calibration but verification also and proficiency testing. Next is we actively participate in international proficiency testing for the integrity of the results. So, para malaman ng iba, proficiency testing is an inter-laboratory testing po. Internationally po yun, compared po yun sa ibang laboratories sa ibang bansa. So, by the way, sa lahat po din na sinalihan ng laboratory sa proficiency testing, lahat po sa parameters ay pasado. As of second quarter po. Quarterly po kami sumasali sa proficiency testing po. And lastly, DTI accredited laboratory that conducts tests not available in other local labs. So, I think kami lang po yung rubber testing facility dito sa Philippines that is ISO 17025 accredited. So, we are proud of that. Thank you. So, next, the test currently offered by ITDI STD. First is the tensile strength and elongation. So, yan po yung universal testing machine. So, this determines the force and elongation taken during the uninterrupted stretching of the test piece at a constant state of transverse until the test piece breaks. So, para aware po yung lahat, ito po siya, ganito po siya kalaki, yung sample. Yung ibibigay nyo lang po na sample, syempre, medyo imposible pong magawa to, lalo na sa mga students. So, yung mga industry din, binibigay po is, as we can see po, ito po yun, rubber sheet, which is 12 by 12 inches po. Then, we use die cutter. So, para lang siyang puncher, pinapunch lang po siya, para makapulo siya ganito. So, ito pong sukat na to is based po sa ASTM D412 and ISO 37. So, the test fee for tensile elongation is 1,000 pesos po. And this is the sample requirement. And turnaround time 7 or 8 days po. Next is the tear resistance test. As we can see po, nung pinurchase po namin itong equipment na to, sa Asia, kami lang po may ganito na ganito kahaba yung column niya. Bakit po kailangan mahaba yung column niya? Kasi yung rubber po, mataas yung elongation niya. Pero meron din plastics po na mataas yung elongation. Like yung PPR. PE pala, polyethylene. So, yan, kaya po mahaba yung elongation niya. We purchased itong bagong equipment para talaga sa rubber. So, ito po yung sample niya. So, compared po dun sa tensile, meron siyang nick. Ito yung tinatawag natin na nick, kaya siya nagiging tear. Ang result po nito is, depending po yung force divided by ng thickness ng nick. Samantalang po sa tensile is force divided by ng area ng sample, yung itong area na to. Meron po tayong nilalagay dyan na 25 mm na gauge length. Doon lang po yung observation. So, yan din po yung... So, by the way, tear is the determination of force required to tear a specified test piece at a constant rate of transverse until the test piece breaks. Maximum and median force achieved are reported. So, these are the this is the test fee, the test method, and same din yung ganito test rubber sheet. Then yung turnaround time din is 7 working days. Next po is the durometer hardness. So, yung durometer hardness, we use a sharp durometer, yun yung tawag sa equipment na yun. So, this determines the hardness based on the penetration of a specific type of indentor forced into a material under specified condition. The indentation hardness is inversely related to the penetration and is dependent on the elastic modulus and viscoelastic behavior of the material. So, as we can see po, ito po yung sample niya. Ganito po siya kaliit. Ganito lang po siya kaliit, which is 1 inch yung diameter niya. So, nagkakaroon ng penetration po. Meron po ditong needle, parang pin siya, nagkakaroon ng penetration. Inversely proportional po yun. Pag mas mataas yung deflection, ibig sabihin, mas matigas yung sample. Pag medyo hindi masyado yung deflection niya, ibig sabihin, mas malambot yun. So, yung ginagamit natin for rubber is Shore A. Shore A po yun. So, based dun sa ASTM D2240 or ISO 7267-2. So, ito din po yung mga details para sa requirements and test fee. So, 250 lang po per sample. We consider pala yung sample is, for example, ito is sometimes hindi siya yung per sample na per piraso. Kaya po siya 5 pieces kasi ina-average po natin or sometimes, depende yun sa standard, minsan median yung requirement. So, halimbawa sa isang batch, kung hingi kami ng 5 piraso po, then yun yung i-median or i-average. Tapos, so yun yung per sample natin, hindi yun per piece. Minsan kasi na misinterpret kasi. So, next po is the aging test. So, we use air circulating oven. So, depending on the duration, we have a specific test fee. So, ito po yun. So, aging test, is the determination of rubber. Rubber deterioration by measuring and comparing physical properties of test piece before and after exposure at elevated temperature with air circulation. So hindi siya basta lang oven, umikot, may hangin po dyan, iniikot ng hangin yung init. So, ito din yung turnaround time po niya depends on the duration and test to be conducted. Kasi hindi lang po siya aging. Sa rubber po, sinasabay yung aging test sa tensile. Lalo na po yung mga rubber po sa bridge. Yung nakita nyo dun sa video, kung hindi nyo masyado yung napansin, bridge po yun, yung parang may mga square na rubber. So between po ng bridge and column po, may rubber po yan. Hindi lang po tayo aware. Meron pong rubber dyan, yung bawa sa skyway. Meron po yan. Nagpapatest po yung mga contractor po niyan sa atin, o sa amin, doon sa rubber nun. So kaya po may aging yun, yung init doon. So commonly, 70 degrees Celsius po yung ginagamit na temperature for aging test. Next po is, so by the way, ito po yun. Ito din po yung ginagamit din sa tensile na before and after aging. So sometimes meron din 70 degrees Celsius tapos 70 hours. So ganun siya katagal, 3 days. Tapos dapat ma-test siya within 96 hours. 16 to 96. Yung hindi siya dapat lalagpas sa 96. Kasi uulit na yung aging namin. Kaya dapat within 16 to 96 hours, dapat ma-test na siya. By the way din, minsan may mga client din nagtataka, yung dun sa duration po pala, minsan depending yun kung sa dami din na nagpapatest sa amin. And sometimes nami-misunderstood nila. Minsan pagdadala sila ng sample, kala nila, ay papatest po kami, pwede na po bang makuha bukas yung result? Hindi po siya ganun-ganun kasi based po sa standard, meron po tayong conditioning time. So kini-condition po yung sample. Hindi yung pagkadala, test na agad. Hindi po yung ganun. So yung samples po ay kino-condition po sa 23 degrees plus minus 2 at 50% plus minus 5 humidity, relative humidity. So, hindi po siya ganun-ganun lang na itetest agad. Same way din dun sa testing facility. Kaya hindi po namin ini-encourage yung mga client na mag-witness kasi may mini-maintain po dun na temperature and humidity. Kaya so, ayun po yun yung mga clarifications kasi sometimes ayun yung madalas, or hindi lang sometimes, madalas yun yung tanong ng mga kliyente. Bakit daw matagal yung result? Saan ba tayo? So, ito compression set. Yung compression set, same din. Ganito lang din yung sample niya. Tapos, pinipit-pit po siya, kaya siya compression set. Ito yung compression set. So, inilalagay dyan sa gitna yung samples. Then, isa-subject din sa oven. Tapos, yung purpose niya is to measure kung gaano siya katagal yung balik ng rubber. Kasi pag ininit mo yung rubber, di ba? So, pipit-pit siya. Tapos, may mga rubbers na, depende yun sa, by the way, hindi po kami nagsasabi kung pass or fail. Para malaman nyo din po, pag nagpa-test kayo, sasabihin may magtatanong, pasado po ba yung product namin sa testing? Eh, hindi po kami nagsasabi nun kasi depende po yun sa requirement ng third party. For example, yung manufacturer ng rubber, magpapatest kasama si contractor. For example, yun nga sa Skyway. So, pupunta doon si contractor sa amin, sasamahan niya si manufacturer para to ensure na yun talaga yung pinatest. So, secure din po yun na kung ano yung natanggap namin, minsan may dayak na nangyayari. To be aware po, may dayak na nangyayari. Minsan, may pupunta dito, papatest po namin to. Tapos, kinabukasan, kung wala na yung contractor, babalik sila, ay papalitan po namin yung sample. It's a big no-no po, hindi po yun pwede. Pwede yun, tatanggapin namin yun, pero iba na yung number. Kasi di naman pwede namin, ay hindi po kami tatanggap na yun, yung pwede. tatanggapin po namin as long as papalitan na yung number, yung request number, which is dapat witness kasi yung contractor. Kasi sometimes doon nangyayari. Di ba yung mga bridge, nagkakaroon ng nagka-collapse yung mga bridge. So, kahit anong samples yun, sometimes kahit sa plastic, kasi nagtitest din kami for plastics. So, ayun po yun. Hindi siya ganun lang na para ma-aware din yung tao na hindi lang kami basta testing lang. So, ito din po yung requirements for compression set. Then, ito yung 25 thickness yung compression niya. Hindi siya pitpit na pitpit, 25% lang. For 22 hours po. 70 degrees Celsius din. Depending din yun, sometimes may nagre-require din ng 100 degrees Celsius. So, depende po yung requirement. Kaya, yun pala yung purpose ko pala kanina. Kaya hindi ko kami nagsasabi ng pass or fail. Kasi baka yung requirement ni client ng manufacturer ay maliit lang, tapos yung sinasabi ng standard ay mataas, sasabihin namin bagsak, pero tolerable naman pala dun sa end user. Kaya, hindi po namin yung pinapakita. Basta, nandun yung result, yung mag-assess na lang nun, yung end user, para makita niya, makompare niya dun sa requirement nila. Kasi iba-iba po yung requirement per end user. So, density and specific gravity. Bago na rin itong equipment namin, mataas na din yung readability niya. So, makikita niyo 0.0001. So, ganun kataas yung readability na in grams. Yung density, technically, measurement of density by water displacement, principle by Archimedes. So, ASTM D792, 450 lang din po yung test fee. So, ito po yung details po. So, for abrasion resistance test, yung abrasion po yun yung paggasgas ng sample. So, ito po yun yung sample natin, 4x4. So, 4 inches by 4 inches po. So, kung medyo mapapansin nyo, may gas-gas, ganyan, may gas-gas, ganyan. So, before po iti-test, wini-weigh siya. Then, after po siya tinitest, wini-weigh na din. So, yung percent loss in weight po, yun yung maano natin kung marami talagang natanggal. So, ito din po yung details. Then next po, effect of liquid, water absorption, stain, chemical or oil swelling. This is the measurement of properties of the rubbers before and after immersion in test liquids. So the liquids concerned include current surface liquids such as petroleum derivatives, organic solvents, and chemical reagents, as well as reference test liquids. So, ito po is depending din sa madalas, 24 hours lang naman yung requirement nila na nakababa. So, 350 lang po din. Ito yung details. So, rubber properties in compression. Yung difference po ng compression set, sinasubject po yun sa, nakapit-pit po siya, nakalagay sa oven. Well, this one, kung ano lang po yung laboratory temperature po, which is 22 degrees. Diyan lang po siya, pinipit-pit po siya. So, determination of the compression deflection, characteristics of rubber compound other than those usually classified as hard rubber and sponge rubber. So, ito po yung details niya. Next po is accelerated weathering test. So, this is the simulation of weathering. We use xenon lamp as source of full spectrum of sunlight, control temperature and humidity. So, medyo may kamala po siya, 6,000 per day. Then, ito lang po yun, may tray size po kasi siya. Ito lang po yun. Then, next po. Ozone resistance. So, by the way, kami, yung ITDI lang po may ozone resistance test dito sa Philippines that we use for third-party testing. So, this is the determination of rubber to cracking when exposed under static or dynamic tensile strain to air containing a definite concentration of ozone and at a definite temperature. So, ito yung medyo may kamahalan, 25,000 kasi Yung equipment na to, medyo mahal talaga. Million po. Then, subject po siya kayo 72 hours din po na nakalagay sa ozone. Then, yan po 12 working days po siya. Next is the volume resistivity and surface resistivity. So this is the determination of the electrical resistance of anti-static and conductive products manufactured wholly or in part from rubber whose electrical resistance measured between definite points. So yung purpose niya, sometimes po meron tayong static electricity, di ba? Pag mapasok tayo sa mga kwarto. May mga contractor po na nag-replace po lalo na sa laboratory din na nilalagyan nila ng mga vinyl pero mataas yung resistance doon to anti-static. So, ito po yun, 1,200. Then, ito lang din po yung sample requirements based sa ISO 14309. Next is the low temperature brittleness point. So, this is the determination of the lowest temperature at which rubber materials do not exhibit brittle failure or the temperature at which half of the test piece used in a test fail when impacted under specified condition. So, the determination of flexibility of rubber at low temperature. So, ito po yung automated na po ito. Ilalagay lang namin yung sample. Then, pagbalik namin, pwede tapos na agad. So, ang kaya po niya is hanggang negative 80 degrees Celsius. Tapos, yung medium niya is ethanol, sorry. So, ethanol yung medium niya. Kasi mataas yung freezing point. Hindi po water. So, ito po yung test piece, test fee, and the sample requirements. Next po is the addition or strength test. So, sometimes po, ito yung sa mga packaging din. Pwede din namin yung test. So, para lang din siyang clear. Pero yung sample niya is ito lang yung wala tong adhesive. Ito din wala din yung sa dulo ng packaging ang mga tawag yan check natin gano'n. Seal yung mga seal niya. So ito yun may seal, ito yung seal part. So this is the determination of the tripping force required to separate two plies of fabric bonded with rubber or a rubber layer and a fabric ply bonded together, measured under specified condition. So next po is the shear modulus test. So ito yung bonding po yan, ito rubber. Then sometimes ito depende po, pwedeng wood, pwedeng concrete, pwedeng metal. So this is the determination of the modulus in shear and the strength of bonds of rubber to metal or other rigid plates. Using rubber banded between 4 parallel plates, this provides data to the development and control of rubber compounds and methods of manufacture of banded shear units. So almost same lang din, 1,000 din. Yun yung common test fee namin, 1,000 pesos. Next is the rebound resilience test. So this is the determination of the rebound resilience of rubber when subjected to impact. It is the ratio of energy returned to energy applied. So ito yung bounciness to ng rubber. So ito pendulum, magba-bounce lang yan. Sa video as you have seen, yun lang po yung testing niya. So ito po yung details. And next. So hydrostatic, leak-proof, and burst test. Magkakaiba po yan, for information, yung hydrostatic, yun yung katagalan yun. For example, naglagay tayo ng 1 bar pressure sa sample within 1 hour. Pag hindi siya nag-burst, so yun yung testing nun, yun yung hydrostatic. Magkaya naman na yung leak, siyempre alam din natin yung burst. Yung burst, so acceleration lang siya ng pressure, hanggang sa mag-burst lang talaga siya. So, yan, pwede niyang i-test dito pwedeng sabay-sabay yan i-test dito sa machine na to. So, by the way pala, kailangan po na threaded yung fitting with end cap. Yun yung hose bar fitting, ito po yun sa sample. Para mailagay po natin dito sa equipment po. So, this is the determination of the performance of rubber hoses with respect to its leakage, deformation, and bursting capacity. Next is the flammability test. So, determination of the behavior of test piece, how they burn in various orientations and dimensions under and or after removal from the particular condition of flame. So, ito na po yung ginagamit natin dito is Underwriter's Laboratory 94. So, ito po yun. So, ito yung test sample. So, meron tayong time dito na habang binaburn yung sample. So, pag hindi po siya dumiretso dito, ibig sabihin, pa-retardant siya. So, hindi lang po rubber yung tinetest natin dito, pwede din po plastics. Next po. Ito po yung latest namin na test equipment. So, ito i-apply pa namin sa 17025. Kasi, latest po lang po ito. So, yung una is the IRHD. So, this determination of the hardness of vulcanized or thermoplastic rubbers on flat surface and for the determination of the apparent hardness on curved surfaces. So, ISO 48 po yung gamit natin dyan. So, ito po yung sample. Yung difference po niya dun sa shore durometer, depende po yun sa requirement ng client. Pero ito na yung madalas na kailangan niya. Yung International Rubber Hardness Degree po yun, kaya IRHD. So, yun, deflection po yun. Meron namang formula para makuha yung approximate IRHD. So, kung ano makuha dun sa shore A, plus 4 lang po yun, yun approximate lang po yun sa IRHD. Madalas po kasi yung mga international end users po, nire-require na nila yung IRHD. Kaya po nag-purchase po yung laboratory nito ng equipment. So, next. Next is the flexibility tester. So, ito po yung flexibility. Same din dun sa testing nung sa negative 80 degrees Celsius po. So, ito din ay para din siyang refrigerator. So, nilalagay mo yung rubber hose dyan sa loob. Same din yung requirement niya for bursting na meron din siyang hose bar fittings. So, ito po ay nag-assess for the flexibility of the hose or tubing when bent around a mandrel at specified sub-ambient temperature. So, malalaman natin yung flexibility ng rubber hose using po mandrel. May ginagamit po after dyan sa 24 hours po ito na nakalagay yung sample po na 24 hours na nakasabi dito sa equipment na to. Then, ilalagay po siya sa mandrel para matest po yung flexibility niya. Kung nag-crack siya or nag-collapse siya, so yun po yun para masukat natin yung flexibility. So, kung meron po kayong tanong, just call us. Ito po yung number and other clarifications po. By the way, ulitin ko lang po, we test not just rubbers, we do test for plastics, for concretes, for office supplies, kung basta physical performance ng mga... Sometimes po, nagtitest din kami ng yung hawakan ng sa LRT, tinatest din po namin yun. Or mga kakaibang sample, kahit yung mga lubid na composites. Basta composites, wala problema po yun. Tawag lang po kayo. Or baka kailangan ng wheels po. So, that ends my presentation. So, thank you and good afternoon.
Before we continue, where's Dr. Anna? Dr. Anna. Okay. We will have a 10-minute break. Kung meron po kayong questions regarding our first two speakers, pwede na po kayo magtanong ngayon. So there will be a 10-minute break before we resume our forum. Meron po bang gusto magtanong? Sa first two speakers po natin. Yes, sir. Can we have your name, please, and your affiliation?
From Sabihin from DOST car.
Oh, kapamilya pala ako.
Sir, yung regarding sa price sa mga SPs, may mga discount ba sa ano? Para naman malaman.
Ako, may discount po for students po, which is 20% discount po yun. Kaya in-encourage natin lalo na yung mga young ones, young researchers po na mag-test po, magpa-test po sa atin. At sometimes may mga question din sila, may mga quiz na minsan hindi nakasama dun sa testing, pero in-encourage sinasagot pa din namin. Wala po yung problema, wala pong manage.
Mga ilang percent sa?
20% po. Okay.
Thank you.
Sir, bali po yung 20% that applies for all DOST agencies kasi naka-harmonize po yung ating testing phase. However, if you are a graduate student, we require them to pay the full amount. Okay? So yun po yung DOST policy on that. So if you have any further questions, you could always visit our webpage, our website, or you could email directly to the Standards and Testing Divisions. Because definitely, there will be an expert who will answer your queries. If not, you can always open the Facebook account of ITDI, okay? And then you can also air your queries on our Facebook account. And rest assured that there's always an expert to answer your questions. Okay, thank you very much from DOST-ITDI. Meron pa ho bang gusto magtanong? Wala na po gusto magtanong. Okay. So, we'll have a 5-minute break and we will resume our forum.
It is the excellence in propelling development has provided technologies and services to the local industry, and the mission to make local industries competitive through science, technology, and innovation for STI.
ITDI as the actual partners by the industry hoping controlling
Science and Technology, finally, in 1987, by the virtue of Executive Order Number 128, the Industrial Technology Development Institute, or ITDI, was formed. Currently, ITDI is composed of a competent organizational structure that further advances science and technology.
We have helped a lot of industries become successful over the years. ITDI at this present time is very active in terms of industry development.
Or knowledge translation program. While the Technical Services and National Laboratories comprises the Food Innovation Center, or FIC, Advanced Device and Materials Testing Laboratory, or ADMATEL, National Metrology Laboratory, or NML, Metrology and Chemistry, or MIC, Standards and Testing Laboratory, Nanotechnology Laboratory, and others that include ensuring of the local and global competitiveness of the product and other materials. These initiatives effectively help so many local industries and technology adapters by creating countless opportunities that the community keeps on expanding and knowledge acquisition.
We specialize on citrus products. Yung consultation kung paano maging commercially viable yung produkto. Nagkaroon ng improvement sa quality. Ma-enhance yung kanyang shelf life at saka yung kanyang appearance. So we're very, very grateful to ITDI. And we will not stop seeking assistance from ITDI. Gusto mo mangyari sa produkto ma-achieve nila better than your expectation.
It is an organic composition.
Marami yung natutunan ko. Yung paano yung process, paano yung technique, paano yung mga code, safety procedures.
I am really hoping to create the ITDI.
Kasi kasi natira na ng pagkain.
Being able to enter the system of the industry, being able to solve realistic problems.
In partnership with the DOST and other science and technology organizations and communities, ITDI shall positively enable and empower the local industries and talents to expand and explore new opportunities for research, production, and enterprise, collaborative, research-based, and sustaining projects for the country's economic communities. Because our business is industry. For more information, visit www.itdi.dost.gov.ph.
Okay. Before we continue, we would like to acknowledge the presence of our officer in charge, Office of the Director, and she is also our Deputy Director for Research and Development, Dr. Annabel Briones. And to continue, okay. Our next technology feature, he has a degree in material science and engineering, major in semiconductor materials and electronic devices. He is armed with a master's degree in material science and presently the head of laboratory of the Advanced Device and Materials Testing Laboratory. Ladies and gentlemen, Engineer BJ Salon.
Hello, good afternoon everyone. So before I proceed with my lecture, pakita ko po sa inyo yung video namin ng ABP. So a little bit a warm up, and after the video, we'll have an energizer. So para mabuhay naman tayo ng konti, di ba? Okay? So,
Advanced Device and Materials Testing Laboratory, ADMATEL. The Advanced Device and Materials Testing Laboratory, or ADMATEL, is a DOST National Testing Laboratory equipped with advanced analytical equipment for failure analysis and materials characterization. It was established to reinforce and upgrade the failure analysis and materials testing facilities of our local industries, provide fast results for analysis at competitive prices, and to entice potential investors seeking for a more conducive business environment. Our vision is to provide the highest quality, accuracy, and precision test services in failure analysis and materials characterization, and to contribute to the advancement of science and technology in the country. ADMATEL is located inside the DOST compound in General Santos Avenue, Bikutan, Taguig City. ADMATEL started soft operation on January 8, 2013, followed by the inauguration on May 31, 2013, by former President Felipe III. Since then, the modern and state-of-the-art laboratory has boosted the competitiveness of local companies and universities. In 2015, ADMATEL has been successfully awarded by the Philippine Accreditation Bureau an ISO 17025 accreditation, a general requirement for the competence of testing and calibration laboratories. ADMATEL has a total floor area of 2,880 square meters and houses a 100K class clean room with 3 sub-laboratories, namely the Surface Analysis Laboratory, the Thermal Analysis Laboratory, and the Chemical and Metallurgical Laboratory. All our laboratories follow the industry standard requirements for clean room temperature, humidity, and ESD safety compliance. The Surface Analysis Laboratory specializes in understanding the surface of various materials, that is the outermost micron, even nanometer area. It houses 3 highly advanced equipment: the Focused Ion Beam Film Emission Scanning Electron Microscope, or FISA, OJ Electron Spectrometer, or AES, and Time-of-Flight Secondary Ion Mass Spectrometer, or TOPSIMS. These equipment can evaluate and provide morphology and composition and even reveal internal structures. It aims to enable and strengthen the Filipino scientific community by providing ultra-high resolution microscopy and compositional analysis. The Thermal Analysis Laboratory offers tests that determine the thermal properties of material as it is being heated, cooled, or exposed to a constant temperature. The laboratory is equipped with the following equipment: Differential Scanning Calorimeter, or DSC, Thermogravimetric Differential Thermal Analyzer, or TGDTA, and Thermomechanical Analyzer, or TMA. It also houses a Fourier Transform Infrared Spectrometer, or FTIR, which can identify organic and polymeric materials like plastics, rubbers, paints, inks, and adhesives. The Chemical and Metallurgical Laboratory performs sample preparation, cross-sectioning, microscopic inspection, metallography, and chemical encapsulation. The laboratory has sample preparation tools, optical microscopes, and gold spotter coating. We provide test services for sample preparation, high-resolution imaging, compositional analysis, and thermal analysis. We have a team of experts to recommend tests that help you come up with creative solutions and innovations. Visit us at www.admiral.com. Like us on Facebook, Admiral Official. For inquiries, call us at 02837 is a DOST.
Okay, so that's how we introduce ADMATEL or Advanced Device and Materials Testing Laboratory. Hindi po ako yung nagsasalita, baka akalain niyo ako yung nagsasalita. So again, good afternoon everyone. Wala, tulog yata sila. Good afternoon everyone. Good afternoon! Yan. Medyo, hindi ako sanay ng may wire yung... Okay, so before we start, kasi medyo, I think this is, the afternoon is medyo cozy with also with the feeling of the rain. So, I like everyone to stand with the appreciation of my team. Can ADMATEL team stand up? ADMATEL team? Tayo. Mahiya. Oh, yeah. So, I'm with my colleague at the ADMATEL team and also with the ITDI, our colleagues is also here. So, but they will facilitate a mini energizer for everyone. Okay? So, every row, everyone, please kindly stand up. Yan. Okay. So, may premyo po ito. Hindi lang po house in lang. Yun lang. Oh, okay. Care of ADMATEL. Okay, so, guys, per row, can you facilitate? If we are incomplete, so please kindly accommodate 2 rows. Okay? Okay, so everyone, you must have Jack and Point. This is a game of Jack and Point. Matira matibay, okay? And the last standing will be... No, per row po muna tayo, per row. Then, after ng per row, the winner will stand in the aisle. Then, the other row will fight against the other row. Okay? Okay? Any questions? So, guys? Okay. So, matira matibay ha? May premyo po ito. Hindi lang po house and land. Okay. So, everyone, let's begin. If you have an odd or even number, please kindly accommodate. So, ADMATEL team, please facilitate. Oh yeah, hindi nakasama po yung ADMATEL team. So, huwag na po kayo umasa manalo. Okay. So, and as I count, ready, set, find your partners, and go. If the other one wins at siya, lumaban po dun sa isa. Okay. Okay. Pwedeng isang pick lang po. Pick lang. Okay. Okay? Okay. The other one? Okay. 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 So, please stand in the center aisle. The center aisle. Center aisle. Center aisle. Guys, sino po yung nanalo dito? Hello. Check. Okay. So, sino po yung mga nanalo? Please come forward in the center aisle. Okay? Everyone? O yan Sayang kung pag tagbe-20, sorry ma'am, kung tagbe-20, no? We have 20 pesos, tapos bibigay yung 20 pesos dun sa nanalo. So, we will collect the 20 pesos. Okay! So, let's begin. Okay? So, the first row. Sir, ready na po ba kayo? Ma'am, ready na po ba kayo? Okay! So, ready? Ready? Go! Waiting ka. Next. Wala bali kayo pa pinatira, so kayo po yung partner ngayon. Then the next, waiting po sila. Okay, ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Bato, pick. Bato, pick. Okay, nakaalisin yung rows. Okay, next. Bakit sige po? Tama. Bato, pick. Okay, please. Thank you very much. And lastly, nakutot ko sila paano ito. O sa ganito na lang mabilis, sabay-sabay na lang. Pero hindi mo na pwede. Okay, ma'am. Kayo po muna kayo mag-close. Yan. Okay. Okay. So, next. Bato, pick. Okay. Last one. Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much po. And lastly, nakapagod pala ito. Okay. Last bato, pick. Okay, ma'am. Ito po yun. Medyo bagay po kasi medyo malakas na po yung ulan. Okay, thank you very much. Wala pa ka naman po natin yung sarili. Diba? Minsan, masakap pumalik sa pagkabata. Okay. Okay. So, sorry, please, kindly bear with me. Medyo masama din yung pakiramdam ko. But this is one event that I'll showcase to you ITDI and what's inside ITDI, especially ADMATEL. Okay, ADMATEL stands for Advanced Device and Materials Testing Laboratory. So, ADMATEL is a DOST National Testing Facility equipped with advanced analytical instruments for failure analysis and materials characterization. So, we will enhance the global competitiveness of industries in the country. So, papahapihan ko lang kasi hindi pa po ito yung presentation ko. So, this is our vision, and this is our mission. Okay. So, ADMATEL is a state-of-the-art testing facility for failure analysis and materials characterization. We have a 100K class clean room laboratory controlled with relative humidity and temperature. So kanina nakita niyo sa video, we have the laboratory that is white and neat. So that is a 10K class clean room. And we are also accredited by ISO IEC 17025 laboratory. So we have a technical team comprised of Doctor of Engineering, Masters, BS degree holders from different fields. So we are very diverse in terms of specialization. So our customers generally is from other industries like steels, paints, etc. Then the large one part of our customer is the semiconductor industry. Next is the academe and the government. So we have we have 5 existing services. The imaging, the compositional analysis, the surface analysis, the thermal analysis, and the sample preparation. And the new one that is upcoming is the 3D X-ray analysis. So all in all, we have 6 services. Okay, so paghapiwan po natin. So we have this capability of imaging. So we have focus ion beams, field emission scanning electron microscope of FIB-VSEM. So it can magnify up to at least 1 million times magnification. So basically, the imaging is a non-destructive testing for visualization. Next, the compositional analysis conduit with the surface analysis. So we have the determination of organic compounds by FTIR analysis, which we have an FTI microscope that can determine at least 100 by 100 microns. So we have also a thermogravimetric FTIR hydrogenation, which the sample is heated and you can determine the outgassing by using FTIR.
So organic contamination, organic material verification, general plastic identification, and functional group identification and spectrum comparison. So this is an example of the FTIR spectrum. So this is an example, medyo malabo, no? This is an example of the FTIR imaging using FTIR microscope. Okay, napagod yata kayo. So next one is an elemental analysis. It's also a surface analysis using energy dispersive X-ray or EDS. So this is basically a type of mapping that you can assign elements by existing colors. Okay, so we have also an OJ spectrum analyzer or AES, which also can do point and area analysis like the EDS, but more on the sensitive side, like the line analysis mapping, depth profiling, and chemical state analysis. At least for me, the special thing for AES is the depth profiling, which we can analyze multiple layers of samples. So this is an example of the EDS spectrum and the OJ spectrum. And lastly, for the surface analysis is the TOSIMS analysis. This is one of the most expensive equipment in ANMATEL. So the time of flight secondary ion mass spectroscopy, which stands for TOSIMS, is an organic and inorganic detection from ppm to ppb. So trace metal identification, thin film materials identification, general material identification, and contamination analysis. So with its capability, you can do point area analysis mapping, the profiling, 3D mapping, for example here, this is a 3D mapping, this is a 2D mapping, and a particle size analysis. So this is an example of a spectrum for TOSIMS. Next is the thermal analysis. So we do thermal analysis like melting point, glass transition, oxidative stability, thermal stability, completeness of cure, thermal expansion, pillar content, and decomposition temperature, which we have the equipment for differential scanning, calorimetry, and thermogravimetric analyzer, and thermomechanical analyzer. Which a basic application, for example, you want to determine or discriminate high density polyethylene to low density polyethylene. So we can determine the melting point, which discriminate the two. So lastly, the sample preparation. So the sample preparation, we have a focus ion beam cross-sectioning, which is in capability of the scanning electron microscope. You can cross-section while imaging the sample. You have the mechanical cross-sectioning, basic metallography, micro-etching, ion milling. Ion milling is etching the sample without contaminating it. And lastly, the laser decapsulation. And I'll discuss this later, but just for viewing. So the X-ray can do 2D inspection and 3D inspection. So later on, I'll explain this everything. Okay, so I think that's all. So if you have any questions, we'll present this inside our laboratory if you want a detailed presentation. So we are at the ANMATEL building, DOST compound, General Santos Avenue, inside the DOST, and yun. So we have services at anmatel.com. If you have any queries or inquiries, you can email us or call us at 837-0461, and you can visit us at www.anmatel.com. And you can also like us on Facebook at ANMATEL Official. So if you have any questions on the go, you can just chat us. Okay, and we have a LinkedIn account, also ANMATEL DOST-ITDI. So wala pong kawala. Kung may tanong po kayo and you are on the go, or even if you have questions or inquiries that are related to our services, you can do that. So you can also watch our marketing video at ANMATEL Marketing at YouTube. Okay. So, yan po yung ANMATEL. Any further questions before we proceed to the next lecture? Questions? Pag may questions po pala, yun nakalimutan ko. Pag may questions, may premyo. Pag kami naman yung nagtanong at sumagot kayo, may premyo. Okay? Okay ba yun? So, any questions? May premyo. Kaya hindi na po payo. Hindi na po payo. Any questions? Questions? Oh, walang premyo. Papakita. Jessica, wala. Okay? So, yan ang mga question. Sayang. Pag ano. Okay. So, 3D computed tomography X-ray. Okay, this will be a new equipment. So, I code, this will be built. Kasi wala pa po sa amin, but paparating na po. So, it will be around on October this year. And we'll offer test services after the month. Okay, so let's proceed. Okay. So 3D computed tomography or X-ray. So what is inside? Everyone wants to see inside. Pero hindi po something na inside. Wag mo ganon. Okay, we want to see inside for everyone. Kasi so, minsan kailangan natin malaman if okay ba siya or what. Pero in terms of love life po yun. Okay. so, what is inside? So, what is inside? People intend to relay need or information of what is inside and determine the states or conditions, whether for the past, present, or the future. Diba gusto natin malaman kung ano yung nasa loob niya kasi we want to see what's the past. Pero again po, huwag po natin i-relate ito sa love life. Again okay, we want to see what happened or what is it doing right now and what we can contribute for the future. So, yun yung theme po for the X-ray. So, what is inside? Okay, so anybody can tell me who is this person? Sabi ko, nakasulat na po siya. Pero the challenge is, how can you pronounce the name? Okay? So, anyone who wants a challenge? So, I want the right pronunciation for this person. Okay? Anyone want to take the challenge? Uy, meron doon. Sana. Ako na lalapit, please. Ayan. Kayo nyo naman. Sino dyan? Sorry, kayo na. Ano daw po pangalan? Okay, from... sir, ano po yung buong... Okay. Medyo nandun na siya. Pero hindi yun yung pronunciation. Okay. You, what's your name? From... Okay. Okay. Medyo nandun na din siya. Pero wrong execution. Okay, say it na. Pero Jesse, can you give them the prize? Okay, this is the father of radio. Wilhelm Röntgen. Pero it's a German name. So, kahit ako nahihirapan din ako, and I heard it so many times, then I practiced, that it is not Röntgen, and it is Röntgen. No, it's Röntgen. Okay, so, Wilhelm Röntgen discovered the what so-called ray. So, the next clip will tell us what happened. So, in 1895, he was experimenting on a cathode ray tube. That's a cathode ray tube. Okay? So, what he did is he covered it with a cardboard, then he switched off the lights. Then he observed that when he switched off the light, there is something glowing on afar. So, well, it's a contradicting if it is a screen or a paper. So basically, he won a Nobel Prize for that. So he called that kind of ray, what is that? X-ray. Kasi bakit X? It denounces what is missing or unknown. So that is X-ray. So pag tinawag mo pala yung X mo, no? X. Hirap, ex-girlfriend, unknown girlfriend. Ganon. So medyo mahirap pala yung ganong sitwasyon. So, dapat pala ganon, no? Hello? Ganon. Okay. So, for that, he is the father of radiography. So medyo meticulous siya in terms of what he discovered. This is an accidental discovery of the X-ray. So, niyaya niya yung jowa niya, yung asawa niya, yung wife niya, to have the first X-ray image or first radiograph. So, this is the first radiograph of his wife wearing her wedding ring. So, yan po. Okay? So, laki mo sisim, yung mayaman yata sila. So, radiography is a technique of imaging using X-ray. So basically, sino ba ang hindi nagpapa-X-ray dito? Pang-imposible yan. Okay. So basically, a radiography is an image coming from an X-ray. So basically, there is two types of radiography. A digital radiography and a radiography. A basic radiography is a traditional one that uses a film. So noon, makikita mo ba, bibigyan ka pa ng X-ray, di ba? Pag nag-apply ka, tapos kailangan mong mag-medical. So yun yun. So normally, this is an example of X-ray of a tooth or a collection of teeth. So, yeah. While DR or digital radiography is an inverse of traditional radiography, which from a X-ray source to a detector, you can produce a digital image of the X-ray. So that's a quite basic difference of a radiography and a digital radiography or a DR. So basically, this is an example of how the process of digital radiography is done. Okay. So, what is the advantage of using digital radiography? Basically, pag digital radiography, you can actually measure, like this, for example, distance, or you can edit the X-ray, or you can manipulate the image. But, there is a con side of that, because, syempre, kunyari, you have the records for dental records or X-ray. Pag DR kasi, pwedeng manipulate. So, pag sumalaki nawa yung mga namatay or hindi ma-identify yung bangkay, so it will not be deduced enough or confident enough to say that that is you. So, okay? Any questions? Okay. So, next, computed tomography. So, computed tomography is the application of the X-ray. So, computed tomography is doing digital radiography with a collection of tens of thousands of images while rotating your sample. Okay? So, you are producing what? A 3D image of your sample, but in X-ray. Okay? So, that is the basic concept of computed tomography. So, basically, this is an example of how a 3D or CT are created. So, if you are taking a sample, this is the actual image of the X-ray. So, this is the X-ray source, and this is the detector. Okay, so can you read again? Okay. Yeah, so iniikot niya po yan, and then you produce the image. But in this case, this is a fast scan. So later on, I will not discuss the full detail of my topic. So I would like everyone or our guests here or even our colleagues to visit us in our laboratory once the X-ray is in our house. So, okay? So that's a good deal, right? Okay. So this is, once the 3D images or the DR images are produced, you can now manipulate it to create a surface structured 3D images or image. Okay, just like this. This is a type of a motherboard. siguro wala na silang makakuha ibang example. So the basic concept of computed tomography was applied and intended for medical purposes. So this is an example of the CT scan for which doctors, radiographer, are used to determine what is inside. So ang nangyayari, ito kanina, di ba, yung sample yung umiikot. Pero dito sa CT, yung detector mo, tsaka yung source mo yung umiikot. Kaya, di ba, pag sino na naka-experience dito ng CT, sana wala pa naman. No? Pero, hindi naman siya masyadong nakakatakot. Pero, in my experience, kasi bawal kang gumalaw. Kasi, well, yung sample kasi, di ba, pag material sample or steady sample, di naman siya gagalaw, di ba? So, in this, kasi pag gumalaw ka, medyo madi-deform yung images na makukuha nila. Okay. So, minsan, actually, bawal ka makuha. Okay. So, computed tomography, hindi ko na ipapaano ito kasi this is Sir Godfrey Hounsfield. Sir, because he is awarded as a knight. Okay? And in 1985, he developed computed tomography. So, he is the father of computed tomography. So, siya is under EMI group of companies. And indirectly, sino kaya to? Beatles. Beatles are under the EMI record. So, indirectly, kasi sila yung pinakamalaking nagbibigay ng pera, so, indirectly, sila din ang nag-contribute sa pag-develop ng computed tomography. Okay? So, konti na lang. So, NDT or non-destructive testing, X-ray is a part of non-destructive testing. It's a wide group of analysis technique used in science and industries to evaluate the properties of materials and component of a system without causing damage. So, generally, kaya ka nag-X-ray para hindi mo pa sirain yung loob, para makita mo yung loob. Tama? Okay, so basically, kung mapapansin nyo, this is a type of a crack. So, yeah, this is the best example of what NDT is used for. So, X-ray system, so, again, in this room, you will be the first one who will see what is our system. So, alpakan mo naman ako. Okay, so again, our X-ray system is the X5000 from NSI. So, this is the actual system that will be held in our laboratory. So, medyo malaki siya. So, later on, I'll speed up the discussion for what specification we have this. So, tignan nyo na po. So, pero makikita nyo po yan dun sa loob ng lab naman. So, excited na ba kayo? Wow. Okay. Okay. So, our system has lead-lined steel cabinet. So, this is a protection for the X-ray. So, normally, the standard is a 1 sievert for a dose for a person. So, we are required to be monitored for radiation contamination. So, this is the basic system configuration for what is inside this cabinet. So, you have the X-ray flat panel detector, the X-ray tube, the test piece, the stage, and the linear diode array. So, kung mapapansin niyo po yung sample, it will rotate X, Y, and Z plane. So, also the detector and the X-ray tube can move also. So, this factors out what results we are given or what images that you can produce. So, the capability of our X-ray can have from 0 kV to 225 kV. So, a standard X-ray, actually, mas mababa pa, depende po sa X-ray kilovolts na dose na natatanggap. Pero for a human body, it's a 60 to 80 kilovolts. While the upper hand for our X-ray is 225 kV that can penetrate up to 200 millimeter thick aluminum. So, why aluminum? It depends with the density of the material. Next, so when we speak on resolution, the capability of our X-ray can raise up to 2 microns. So this is called a GMAT chart. So pag image mo yan, you can verify the resolution of the capability of your X-ray. So kung mapapansin nyo, diba yung 2 microns is here. So para malaman mo na okay siya at that level, yung lines mo here, kasi here, must be clear. So this is from the supplier of the detector. So kung mapapansin nyo, no, visually makikita mo pa yung lines. Ganon kalinaw yung maproproduce na resolution, but definitely depends with the power and the specification that we apply for the sample. So if you imagine 2 microns, so a B is 2.5 centimeters, while our blood is 6 microns. So 2 microns is very, 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 very small. Okay? So, magtanong kayo, baka kita po ba yung blood namin pag positive? Pero indeterminate with the density of your blood. So, mataas yung plasma. Okay. Any questions? Questions? Parang wala ba na mama ka? Wow! Okay, so the loading capacity is up to 130 kilograms and the average weight for Asian, actually, nag-ano kasi pwede, US, is 75 kilograms. So literally, if you can get in the X-ray, you can do the X-ray inside, okay? But you will be highly contaminated with the X-ray. Okay, so basically, malaki yung sample na pwede nyo ilagay. So, in size, it is 120 cm by 80 centimeters in diameter. It's big. Okay? So, na-imagine nyo po ba? So, pwede nyo pumasok doon na kayo. Pero ako yung hindi papasa kasi 200 pounds. Kaya pa 200 pounds. Okay. So, 3D X-ray process is from test piece, you generate the 2D X-ray images, and you create the 3D CT volume or the 3D images. So, from that, we can process it out by creating 3D CT surface. You can assign colors or gradient of surface, like if you want the surface to be still light, you can do that. Okay? Then you can evaluate the density. So if you have different materials inside, you can differentiate it out. Next, you can do 2D measurements because once you create 2D radiography, you can measure it out, and it is considered to be a methodological aspect of measuring. Okay, so pwede siyang tawag dito, i-calibrate. So next is the component instruction. If the sample has 2 different densities, nakikita niyo po ba ito? You can take it out. So you can blow it out. For engineers here, you can take it out and construct a blowout image. Next is the CAD modeling. If you have producing samples and it is in CAD form, you can superimpose the image and differentiate it in 3D. Next, you can have a 3D measurement, volume, area, and etc. Then 3D wireframe for different types of analysis and defect analysis for entity. So our primary markets will be aerospace, automotive and transportation, casting, electronic, plastics industries, and research. So, eto, ano lang po to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, 5 industries. But there are more. Medicine, nanotechnology, wood, etc. It's a very wide range of application and in terms of markets. So, dito na po tayo sa application. So, as you can see, this is a fin. This is a part of a turbine. So, sorry, hindi ko na-ilagay yung picture. So, you can see rotating images. So, measuring is a very good example on how aerospace can do this kind of application. Okay? Next is automotive. This is a type of a 4D. So, sumabra na po tayo. The 3D, then 4D application. So, this is an engine. working engine na po siya, but instead of 3D X-ray. So, gumagalaw siya while you scan it. This is an application of aluminum casting, so you can do measurements. And you can see this, medyo nakikita niyo po ba? Yung different colors na, that is a void. So, yung void, mga butas po siya inside your sample that cannot be barely seen outside your sample. But you can just see it through an X-ray. This is an electronic sample. This is an iPhone. So, makita niyo po, this is a 3D scan of the iPhone. I forget if this is an iPhone 7 or 8. So, yeah. Next, this is, kung mahulaan nyo kung ano to. Ano to? Oh, this is a type of a flash drive. So, this is what you see inside of a flash drive. Okay? Next, this is an application for plastics. Kung mapapansin nyo, you can do cross-sectioning without damaging your sample. This is a virtual cross-sectioning. Medyo bisog na. Okay. So, yeah, cross-section niya. So, mapapansin nyo, hinahabi niya yung samples, and you can see voids inside. Okay? Ayan. So, kanina wala. Ayan, yung mga voids. Okay. So, next, for research, this is an aluminum foam. So, basically, you can do application of their research and do 3D scanning of it. And this is also a 4D scan. And lastly, for medicine, this is an EpiPen, or for diabetic, this is a pen, insulin. Yeah. So this is 3D generated by volume graphics. So we also have this. So if you have intended multiple components, you can assign colors, and you can separate them and do a blowout. Okay, so fascinating. Wow! Ganun eh, di ba? So, lastly, I think this is the last slide. So, in general, in conclusion, using the 3D X-ray, this is the minimum analysis that we can do. I tell you, this is the minimum. Because, in general, we can do failure analysis. You can do R&D or research development. We can be your quality assurance for inspection. We can do internal and external measurements in 3D, in 2D, and you can do density analysis and most probably the 3D metrology. So this is the example of using the volume graphics. So you superimpose mo yung autotype mo, then you can see the wall thickness. So this is, yeah. Kung mapapansin nyo, the different color is assigned for a different thickness. Okay? So, yun. Medyo mapagod siya. Anyways, so, I think this is my last slide. And this is the 3D computed tomography X-ray for asthma. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dear Mitchie. I just would like to reiterate what he mentioned earlier. For appreciation of our laboratory facilities, feel free to visit the DOST-STII complex. However, we will request a letter of intent from your school or from your offices so we could properly schedule your visit. Wala pong bayad yun. So, punta lang po kayo sa compound namin and you will enjoy our 5-hectare property dahil marami po kaming tinanim na puno doon. 1,500 species of different varieties. Okay. Sabi po nga nila, yun daw pong pinakahuli, yun po ang nire-reserve namin na pinakamatindi. He is a chemical engineering by profession and armed with a master's of engineering and chemical engineering, graduating as magna cum laude. He's also armed with a master's of science in environmental engineering and at present the head of division of the environment and biotechnology. Ladies and gentlemen, Engineer Reynaldo L. Esquera.
being the oldest presenter. So, nagbigay tayo sa mga bata. So, today, are you familiar with quick service restaurants? Ano ba yung quick service restaurants? What are this? This will be your fast foods. So, again, just to reiterate, those on the screen are just for illustration purposes. They are not to be considered as an endorsement from DOST. So, quick service restaurants are fast foods. There would be about more than 32,000 already just in Metro Manila alone. That was 2009. Unfortunately, that's the latest data. And I'm sure merong bago at bago lagi natatayo. Except for the one just across World Trade Center where some of my colleagues, kala nila doon sila kakain the other day, pala it got burned down. And even Australia has taken notice of it. This is a $3 billion business. And kahit anong mangyari, nandyan pa rin sila kahit na may 5.2% ang inflation, $54 million, they're still there. Now, they are generally classified into three types. The chicken and burger, which will be your usual, again, no endorsement, Jollibee, McDonald's. Then you have your bake shop and pizza, your Shakey's, Pizza Hut, Greenwich, and your Asian cuisine. Chowking, Max's, Manginasal. And they are generally classified into three types. The freestanding store, the in-store, and the in-mall. So if you go to MOA or Mega Mall, they are called in-mall. Now, there will be those in this space, but the major quick service restaurant that is having a problem would be those what we call freestanding. They had difficulties in complying with environmental standards. And just to give you an idea how they've been trying to comply, they would just have septic tanks overflowing to another septic tank and then being discharged. So a typical wastewater characteristics of these quick service restaurants would have a biochemical oxygen demand, that's BOD, of about 600 to 1,200. That's very similar to our raw sewage. And the standards for Class C receiving body of water like Pasay River or like Laguna Lake would be 50. So in this case, they have not met this standard. So again, the problem, limited space, of course, pagdating sa gastos, everyone, ayaw natin gumastos. And then we would also look at both investment and operating cost. But before I proceed to that, I would like to emphasize that we at ITDI, we don't generally recommend doing treatment at once. Because this is what has been happening. If you have your factory emitting air, you set up your air pollution control device, maybe use a wet scrubber where water coming counter current with air would take out the pollutants in air, but just transferring your pollutant to water. So we set up your wastewater treatment plant, put in some chemicals so that the water could comply and be discharged into the river. But you have your sludge, which you may have to bring to a landfill. When it rains, what happens? You form leaching, which could penetrate our groundwater, and now that water is now being drunk by this lady with random sample. So that's the typical approach that had been done for quite a number of years. So what we're trying to do is, if you have a 100 units of raw materials to generate 80 units of finished products, how much waste do you have? 100 minus 80 is 20. So the approach is doing an intervention inside the plant before the waste goes out, so that if this goes down to 10, what happens is still you have 100 units of raw materials, then finished products could go as high as 90. Or when you return the 80, your raw materials becomes 90. But the basic principle of this is what we call the cleaner production resource, as defined by UNEP. Simply put, it's just like, sino nagkakape sa ano? What do we do? Mainitin mo yung tubig, pag kumulo na, what do you do? You place your coffee, milk, or creamer, and sugar, stir it, and then what do you do? Wala nang higit. How many, anyone who drinks coffee at 100 degrees centigrade, ayun, I'll give 1,000 pesos. Just prove it to me. Of course, pero studies have shown na what is the optimum temperature of coffee? Dapat 78 degrees. Why? Siguro pinag-aralan din yung coffee ko. Kaya may coffee ko 78. Again, no endorsement. So, but if you want to learn more about that, my two colleagues at the back, si Dr. Roslyn and Dr. Monja, they're experts in this field. Pero kung taga-Cagayan, di ako kayo ng region. So, and then this goes towards applying this hierarchy, but again, I won't spend too much time on that. So I'll just go to what I'm supposed to talk about. So the technology that we've developed would look at the three problems: space, investment, and operating costs. So this is a concept of it, which we exhibited about 2 years ago, I think. So this is supposedly a car. Hindi lang naipalata doon. But it would eat up the space of one parking lot. So pwede mo lang ilagay siya sa baba. So practically, it's just, you have an equalization tank, you have a reactor tank, you have a clarifier. That's it. The key here eventually would be finding the organism that would be appropriate. And how do you do that? I know there's a microbiologist in the audience, pero yung mga estudyante who's into biology, yung favorite subject in biology? Wala. Math. Chemistry. Packaging technology. Wala na kayo kayo sa nagtaas. Mga bossing yung tinataas mo. But the thing is, eventually, we isolated microorganisms from the waste itself. But kanina, okay pa nyo ba yun mga may tumatang. But, and then eventually we use that, and coupled with some engineering designs to ensure that we meet the requirements. So, this would be the results. I won't read through the slides. I'm sure makikita din naman. Sabi ko nga, pag nahirapan din kayo mag-lecture, this is a tip to you. Just tell your audience, self-explanatory. So, but the thing is, using an 18 liter, so at a bench scale setup, using an 18 liter capacity or 18 liters per day with a 24 liter reactor, so this one, the results would be ito. So the BOD itself was from 12 to 14. Standard was 50, and influent was at 500. Now, syempre, what we do here is start with the bench, then we eventually scaled it up to a 48 liter capacity, and the salts will be, well, from 554, and still we have met the, of course, the other parameters, some might not still be met, but you see even the oil and grease, surfactant, most would be within, except for the total coliform and the fecal coliform. Well, why? Bakit yan? Well, of course, it's the system, although it's microbial, there could still be some resistance from their opponents, the coliform. So, generally, a treatment like this would require, at the end, a disinfection unit. Of course, we don't put in the disinfection system. So, this is how the waste would flow. Equalization, then the reactor tank, and finally the discharge. Of course, this is after this is where you do the disinfection. You don't do the disinfection somewhere in this area. It's just like dosing your septic tank with Clorox. And what will happen with your septic tank? You dose it with Clorox. With a lot of Clorox. Okay lang naman konti yung negative sa ito. You will be killing your microorganism. Now we have scaled it up, a 100-liter reactor. Notice, have you seen this type of plastic? Di ba yung mga sorry, wala tapos na. Tapusin ko. Diba? But you see, using this, just to distinguish, so this is the before what goes in at that point, and eventually what leads in is this one. So again, the results would be meeting the standards for BOD, COD. So just look at the figures, then all of them will be within standards. So in the end, so that's the technical side of it. So we did a simulation looking at what if we scale this up and it still works, because we're still at that stage. Then you just need to, you'll have eventually, even if you spend, you actually would have some savings. Why? Most people would say, eh, pag wastewater treatment yan, gastos lang yan. Meron bang bumibili ng treated wastewater? Well, pag hindi marami kong customer na gusto magtinda ng treated wastewater. So, actually what happens, so dapat magbabayad ka ng 10,000 pesos a day as a fee, as a penalty, then you should have used that 10,000 pesos to comply with the regulation. It's just like some time ago, we at DOST, we did not treat our domestic sewage. Then we showed our secretary that we will be paying about 100 million pesos a year in terms of fines and penalties if we don't treat our waste. So we got a 7.2 million project for that. Now, and comparing it with what is currently available at a 12 cubic meter capacity, you'll spend more than $500,000. Actually, some estimates could come up as 1.2 million, as opposed to just 320. And if we pitched this in last February, we had sinanay mo ako ng 5 minutes of presentation, tapos isang oras mo ako pinag-present dito. Okay. Just with an investment of 845, they could eventually recover their investment within 1.4. That's assuming, of course, you have your existing facilities to do this. So, just as a conclusion, the thing is, one, most of those quick service restaurants, even if they have treatment, the problem is they do not take out the grease. They don't have the grease. They do have a grease trap, but what happens is they do not clean it. So, oil and grease still goes to your wastewater. And oil and grease would affect your treatment efficiency. Imagine yourself, buhusan natin kayo lahat ng grease. How do you eat? Remember, the microorganisms would be similar to you and me. Parang similar. Organism. We are all organisms. Organism din pala. Macro nga lang tayo. So we also, these microorganisms, they eat the pollutants. Yung pollutants, yun yung pagkain nila. It's similar to, well, the other thing is, you've heard of the carbon-nitrogen ratio. Sa composting, so it's water treatment. You have to maintain a level of carbon and nitrogen ratio. Bakit ba yun? Hindi ko papaliwanag, but what I'll do is, I'll drive an analogy. Let's say, starting tonight until 1 week, puro kanin lang ang kainin. What would happen? Kanin is carbohydrates. Carbohydrates is carbo. Parang laging may burst of energy. Full of energy ka. Kaso pagkaubos na, wala na, hihina na. So that's where the nitrogen comes in. Ano yung nitrogen? Saan mo kukunin yung nitrogen? Actually, sa ulam natin. You have protein, your source of nitrogen. Yung protein would have, nakalimutan ko na how to draw the structure, pero may nitrogen. So, kaya kailangan natin ng ulam. So, kanin at ulam for macroorganism. In this case, minsan, walang source of nitrogen. So, in some wastewater treatment, you supplement your wastewater treatment with urea. Pero hindi ganun karami. So, as I mentioned, grease trap maintenance is for that. We even had an experience where they would clean their grease traps. Sabi na, saan yung nilalagay pagkatapos yung linisin? Binabalik dun sa wastewater. Okay. Tapos kasalanan namin. Then, of course, just to make sure, although, kasi pinagawa ko lang yung slide, hindi ko pala napansin. I tend to shy away from chlorination. There are other methods. Like chlorination, you can still do disinfection, but personally, I would tend to shy away from chlorination. Bakit? Why? Hintayin ko isa. Not unless kung malakas pa ulan, pwede tayo over na. Well, the reason why I tend to shy away from chlorination is because chlorination could yield more toxic outputs. I don't know if you've heard of this disinfection byproducts or DBPs. Or sometimes more significant is the trihalomethanes, THMs. So may organic chemistry na ba? May chemistry ba kayo na? I-draw nyo na lang yung structure of organic chemistry. So just to show you, this is our project team. Para lang ma-appreciate nyo. We have may isang nag-PhD, may isang nag-masters, may yung tatlong babae na puro nanay yan. That's why they want to protect the environment. They all have a BS in engineering and a master's in environmental engineering. Ang hindi lang po namin naisama, yung mga may staff, yung isang aming taga-fabricate. Now, finally, just to illustrate, so on the operating cost. The operating cost would consume 11.424 kilowatt hour per day. Let's just say 10 pesos per kilowatt hour. So that's 114 pesos and 40 centavos per day. Eh, magkano yung burger? Medyo malaki-laki. Actually, regular, again, no endorsement, regular yung magkano. With cheese, nasa 100 yata. Ito, yung super size mo. Kung walang soft drinks, 148. May soft drinks, pero maliliit yung price, 182, and the larger one is 180. So, the system we've developed, actually, not only could it fit, kasi 12 cubic meters lang yung size, it could fit under the parking lot of a quick service restaurant. And the operating cost is very small. And of course, the investment is also very small, at 320,000 pesos. Now, we might be trying this very soon sa Boracay. I'm sure you know what's happening in Boracay. But we had a problem on the microorganism that we isolated kasi medyo hindi kami ganun kabilis mag-reproduce. Buti na lang mga friends kami dumating kanina, pero no. Yung isa may kausap yun sa PICC, which could help us in improving the the microorganism dito sa case na to. So, with that, I would like to thank you, thank our MC, and of course our bosses nandun, and all of you for attending this forum today. And
Okay. Meron po ba gusto magtanong? Wala na po? Yes.
sa iba,
Kasi kumbaga kanina, hindi na mention yung tungkol sa mga mineral stones. So pwede rin siya gamitin. Mineral stones. Ay, kaya ba niya ma-determine kung anong nakikita doon sa mga stones and minerals? Kaya niya ma-determine? Or it's just plain x-ray, ganun lang, 3D lang?
Chemical analysis, but we can measure.
I'll make sure ako sa
Yes, actually, the 3D X-ray can more or less do inspection, no? Show us the inside or beyond our naked eye. But may limitation din siya in terms of identifying which mineral present in the sample or chemical analysis. It can only do measurement, dimensional, or let's say measure the particle size, or you may crack doon, or may voids. Yeah, metrology pa. The color?
Kaya ba niya na ma-determine sa
No.
So it's just,
The color shown there, di ba marami pang iba-ibang colors that connotes or helps us identify kung let's say there's deviation on the thickness, kung merong madaming concentration ng pores on that certain area, ganun pa. Pero we cannot measure, no? Yung talagang outright show the actual color of the sample that is being tested at the 3D X-ray.
Sa image niya talaga, kumbaga, white, gray, black, that's yung kanina nakita namin.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for the question.
Okay, meron pa ho bang gustong magtanong? Any clarifications po? Wala na po. So, as what Engineer Esguerra mentioned, maraming salamat po. We'll see you again next year for our 2019 Technology Forum. And welcome to ITDI. Punta lang po kayo doon. Thank you very much. May request now all the presenters. Magkaroon po tayo ng photo-op. May I also ask Dr. Ignacio and Dr. Briones to join us. Lahat po ng mga nag-present po.